Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about dividing rational numbers. Last Friday we talked about multiplying rational numbers. Today we're going to be talking about dividing. So like last Friday's warm-up, we have three statements. We have to say whether they're always, sometimes, or never true. Statement number one says the quotient of two positive numbers is positive. So I'm going to highlight quotient. And I know that this means to divide. Maybe you didn't, but that's okay. Now you do. You're going to write a division sign above the quotient. And it says of two positive numbers. So I need to come up with two positive numbers. I'm going to do 6 and 3. And we already said we're dividing, so I'm going to put a division sign here. 6 divided by 3. So how many times can 3 go into 6? 3 can go into 6. Let's see, 3, 6. Okay, 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. I get a remainder of 0. My answer is 2. So, is this a positive number? Yes, it is. So this statement is always true. Looking at statement number 2, the quotient of a positive number and a negative number is positive. So quotient here, I'm going to highlight that. And I know it's division again. But this time I have a positive number and I need to come up with a negative number. So my positive number, I'm going to use 6 again. But for my negative number, I'm going to change that positive 3 to a negative 1. And then again, we're doing division. So we already know 6 divided by 3 is 2. But now I have this negative here. So when I have a negative and a positive, I get a negative quotient. So 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. So let's see if the statement is true. The quotient of a positive number and a negative number is positive. Well, no, we just proved that that's not true. We got a negative 2 as our answer. So this is never true. And lastly, the last statement says the quotient of two negative numbers is negative. So quotient here again. And I know this is repetitive, but this means division. And we have two negative numbers. So I need to come up with two negatives. So I'm going to use negative 6 and negative 3 again. And again, this is division. Negative 6 divided by negative 3. We said 6 divided by 3 is 2. 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. This time I have two negatives. So it's going to be a positive quotient of 2. Let's read the statement. The quotient of two negatives is negative. No, that is not true. We just proved is actually positive. So this is never true. Let's move on. We have a problem string. So our first problem says 9 divided by 3. Well, we have two positive numbers here. 9 is positive and 3 is positive. When we have two positive numbers, we said this is a positive quotient. So we have 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 can go into 9 3 times. This time we have a positive and a negative. So we have a negative and a positive number. Our quotient will be negative. Here we have a negative 9 and a positive 3. So a negative and a positive again. This is going to give us negative 3. Now on this fourth one, we have two negative numbers. When we have two negatives, this is going to give us a quotient of a positive 3. And now what we have here is 0.5. So we need to figure out how many times can 0.5 go into 9.5. But here we have a negative and we have a positive number. So we should get a negative number. So we get negative 19. And this last one, we have a negative and then we have a positive. So we need to figure out how many times can 0.25 go into 9.5. I guess I forgot that little arrow. You would get negative 38. So because we have a negative and we also have a positive, it will give us a negative quotient. So let's look at some patterns here. Last Friday we talked about variables. Again, variables are A and B, sorry, not addition, we're doing division. So A divided by B in example 1, we said, hold on, let me change to black. Okay, so in example 1, we have positive A divided by positive B, and we got a positive quotient. We have a positive A and a negative B, we get a negative. We have a negative BA and a positive B, we get another negative answer. We get 2 negatives, so negative A divided by negative B. This gives us a positive answer. And same thing for the last two. We have a negative and a negative answer, negative and a positive, another negative. So let's look at the similarities. So I get a positive answer when I divide two positive numbers. I get a positive answer when I divide two negative numbers. So a positive and a positive give me a positive. A negative and a negative give me a positive. What? This is the exact same as when I multiply. So you're telling me that the product and the quotient, no matter if it's either or, a positive and a positive will always give me a positive, and a negative will always give me a positive. Let's look at the similarities between the negatives. So a positive and a negative give me a negative, and a negative and a positive give me a negative. So positive and negative equal negative, a negative and positive equal negative. So when they match, it gives me a positive. See, these are the same, it gives me a positive. When they're different, positive and negative, it gives me a negative. Negative and positive, negative.